looking forward to see how things can be better, both from the agency and the client side. So thank you, Zino, for taking our time to take us through this. Normally we use 45 minutes, but based on historical data, we've noted that 45 minutes most of the time is not usually enough. So we would not mind extending this to an hour or an hour, 15 minutes. Then after we would have questions to follow. I trust we are very familiar with the house rules right now. All mics on mute until the speaker is done. So all questions should be dropped in the chat box, and then they'll be attended to after the class. So thank you, Zino. You have the floor.
Hi guys. Hi Bukayo. Thank you for this opportunity. So I am just going to share my screen now. So hold on. Okay. Can you guys hear me all right? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, cool. Let me just mention here that I would really appreciate it if you guys I'm able to talk with response from you guys at the end of every session.
We can't see your presentation.
Yeah. So at the end of every section, I'm open to questions and things like that. So like it'd be nice if yeah. Okay. Can you guys see my presentation now?
Yes.
Okay. So hey guys, so welcome to this. I'm very glad. I'm thankful for this opportunity that DigiClan has offered for me to come and share this whole thing. Like Bukayo, I'm very interested in performance marketing. Like I think this is the part of digital marketing that I want to thrive in, and luckily I've somehow been in it. So this is me. My name is Zino. I have 7 years of work experience in digital marketing. So I've been doing this for 7 years. 4 years in Nigeria and about 3 years here in Canada. It has been interesting because like I've been working to help scale up 3 startups now since I got here. So there's a lot of things that I have learned. I also I have a group of digital marketers, Nigerian digital marketers in Canada that are trying to get back into the space, or even the ones that were already in the space. We just generally encourage ourselves and share tips, tactics, learnings, everything you need to survive as a digital marketer or a performance marketer in Canada. I love to teach. I really love teaching. I'm now considering it as a career. I love watching TV series that are, I'm not able to handle serious movies and things like that, like war movies and stuff like that. But yeah, really goofy ones. And then I also love to cook. My goal today is to add value to you guys. I'm going to decide if at the end of this this whole call, I've not actually added any one value to you people. So I want to add value to you by sharing practical performance marketing tips and hacks based on my experience of launching and optimizing and managing over 20 campaigns monthly. I would even say daily, honestly. So there's different practical tips. What I wish I had the opportunity or the time to be able to show you guys in the platforms step by step. But what I'm going to offer you guys is if you're interested in step by step platform, how it works in Facebook or Google and stuff, I'm going to drop my email address. You can reach out to me and I can plan something for you. But just for the purpose of this, I'm going to stick more to, I'm just going to talk through it here. At this stage, I want to ask if anybody has any questions that they want to ask. I want to ask if you have any questions or if there's something that you want me to touch on as I'm talking. Does anybody have anything? Okay.
If I may, I think I mentioned what I would love you to touch on the WhatsApp group, something around planning um, a marketing strategy for a pre-launch startup, looking at the pre-launch, launch, and post-launch phases of the marketing plan. That should be all.
Okay, if I don't even touch it in this, I can like also reach out to you later and then we can talk about it. But I think I might touch it in this conversation
Oh,
somehow.
great, great.
Okay. So here's the structure. I've broken it down into three, and the first part is going to be on strategy. The second part is going to be on all the platform optimizations, and the third part will be on tracking, analytics, and reporting. The thing about the like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to like go like really deep. I'm just going to mention like practical tips and hacks that if you're already running performance marketing campaigns, you can just take it and go and deploy. But first, I thought to share the difference between digital marketing, performance marketing, and growth marketing. Digital marketing basically is promoting your products and services using your online channels. It could be paid and organic. Performance marketing is the paid portion of digital marketing that focuses on results, and that's what we're talking about today. Now, growth marketing, I think, is where we all want to get to. When I was talking to my colleague this morning about this, and she actually mentioned that growth marketing is marketing, really. So I think that everybody needs to get to the point of growth marketing where as a marketer, your goal is to ensure that revenue is realized for the company. So you have to optimize all the stages of the funnel just to ensure that revenue is realized. That's when you become a growth marketer. And I think that really that's where marketing as a whole is going. So part one is strategy. The first thing I want to tell you guys is the first tip I have for you is that as a performance marketer, at every point in time, you have three goals. The first one is to increase revenue. The second one is to ensure that you have the right audience, your ads are showing to the right audience. And the third one is to ensure that you're optimizing costs. You see how I did not put reduce costs? Because there's a certain level of budget that you'll be on that will be too low and there won't be any, you won't be getting any value. So like based on your historical performance, you should have an idea of average cost and just generally be around that optimal cost. There are a couple of things you can do to increase revenue from a performance marketing side. It could be that you have launched a new campaign. It could be that you're launching a new A/B test. It could be that you have a new campaign and you have a new copy or a new landing page, things like that. For ensuring that you have the right audience, an example would just be keyword optimization on Google search ads. On Google search ads, your keywords actually determine your keyword match type determines the audience, the people that see your ad. So if you come today and say that I made my keywords more long tail and more targeted, and so I'm confident that I'm definitely showing our ads to the right audience. Like that is something like, at the end of every week, apart from like my charts and stuff that I show to my boss, something else that I do is like at the end of every week, I have this Google sheet where like I have this broken down into these three columns. And I say, these are the things that I did this week to increase revenue. These are the things that I did this week to optimize our audience. And these are the things I did to optimize cost. I think that is one tip I'm giving you as a performance marketer. I think that you can take it at the end of every week. If you can prove that you actually added value in each of these three things, or at least two of these three things, you'll know that you're definitely like performing. You're definitely getting there, and it will help you just see the bigger picture, and you just start to identify areas of opportunities for growth for you that you should pick on. I typically say that I typically say that as a performance marketer, your defining metric is your return on ad spend, because your return. Does everybody know what return on ad spend is, or you want me to explain it? Can you guys talk? Because like when I'm here, I can't see your. Okay. I'm going to explain what it is. So return on ad spend is basically the metrics. It's the metric that measures how much revenue you are, it's the metrics that measures how much revenue you are getting from your ad efforts, basically. So I'm running ads and I'm spending $1,000 per day or for a whole month. In that month, did I get $1,000 back in revenue? If you did that, you will say that you're just like, at least you're at par. Your return on ad spend it's a ratio. So it's revenue to spend. So your return on ad spend would be like 1-to-1. But imagine if you spend $1,000, but then you get $5,000 back in returns. That's like some really good performance. So really your goal is for you to achieve a positive ROS, you need to be increasing revenue, talking to the right audience, and optimizing costs. That's basically it. Does anybody have any question? Okay. For the second part, for me is you need to know your funnel. I would say that honestly, before I moved here, I don't think I really used to consider funnel. I just used to hear about it, but didn't really know. But then if you're a performance marketer and you have to drop like a strategy and all, your ability to your success is dependent on your knowledge of your funnel. So we all know that your funnel can be broken into three different, your top of funnel. So TOEFL, MOFO, and BOFO. TOEFL is top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. Your strategy really is basically plotting all the stages of your funnel against your goals, against the audience, so that's people you should be talking to, against your channels. What platforms are you going to use at the different stages of the funnel? For example, Facebook is a top of funnel. Facebook display ads is a very good top of funnel channel. But then Google search is not. Google search is more for middle of funnel. So you just need to know what channels, what messaging, what are you saying at the different stages of the funnel, and then what tactics are you using. So like it's showing here, your top of funnel actually covers everything you do to drive awareness to your website or to whatever it is that you're promoting. Your middle of funnel is everything you do to sort of like make them at least even drop their email address or like make them to consider you. Everything you do to make them to consider you or speak with you or whatever. Then your bottom of funnel, of course, is like, converting, bringing the money, turning it to them to revenue paying customers. This is basically how this is what I'm imagining it to look. So this is what I mean by that you are going to plot your top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel against these 5 columns you're seeing here. Let me just talk on like the goals on this one. I'm going to show you like a fully fledged, full one, but let me just talk about this. I just thought to use the example of my current company to show you maybe the way I'm looking at it. So like we are a HR software company, so we're B2B, and then so my goal is to get HR managers or like CEOs or founders, small founders of startups to like buy my HR software and use it for their company. So my top of funnel goal is really to drive traffic to the website. That's my first one, because I want them to come to the website and see like at least the general offering, what we're doing. My success metric, like what I'm going to use to be determining success here is like my clicks, like how many clicks, CTR, what was the bounce rate, how long did they stay on the website and stuff like that, because did they even go to other pages? So even number of page visits fall there. So those are like metrics I'm looking at top of funnel. Middle of funnel for me, my goal is really lead generation. Now that you've come to my website, I want you to drop your email address so that the salespeople can reach out to you and try and convert you. So I want you to drop your email address. That's why I have lead generation. And then my other goal is to book them, or basically tell them to book them with basically the conversation they will have with the salespeople. So my success metric here, you can see on the side, is like leads, how many leads came in, my cost per leads, how many people actually showed up for the demo out of all the leads that came in, stuff like that. Then my bottom of funnel is to turn them into revenue paying customers and to retain them. So my major metric there is like return on ad spend, revenue, how we trending, is return on ad spend increasing or reducing, stuff like that. We have to start asking ourselves questions and start to work around it. Now this whole shit, this is what is really going to look like. We couldn't add the success metric to this. So I worked with this whole shit is like a real document that we use. I worked with somebody like 3 weeks ago. He needed it for his a company that he was working with. And then this was the best way we could put the strategy. And the goals really was just to get people to sign up for an event, and to an event that they wanted 10,000 people to be on, come in Toronto. And then also to get maybe at least 5% of those people to register to become like full-time members of the body. And then like they broke it down like this. So for this guy, the top of funnel, he wanted to drive awareness to the events page. He had, this way his audiences, they already had like an email list. So this could the current email list, the social media community. He was going to create lookalike audiences, the Black community and all. Then he was, this is audience. Then his messaging. By the way, let me mention that this whole strategy is both paid and unpaid. Then this is what he's saying he's going to tell them at the when they at top of funnel. So he wants to use content to drive them, to bring them in. He's also going to use normal ads to bring them in. And then paid, so his channels, of course, he's using paid. For paid marketing at this point, he's going to use Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Display, and YouTube. Notice that it's Google Display he put here, because Google Display is a good top of funnel, but it's not a good, I really don't exactly like it as a middle of, sorry, Google Display is a good top of funnel, but Google Search is not. So like these are all the channels he's considering, we like considering for like the top of funnel. Then these are the tactics. Like he's going to create a lookalike audience. He's going to create a Facebook event. He's going to create an infographic, an ebook. He's going to launch a free meetup. You know, all the things that you're going to use to achieve this goal is what you need to focus. Everything you use to achieve this goal here is what you'll be looking at. By the time it came to middle of funnel, his goal now became that he wants to convert visitors to register for the event and drive membership. And then same thing, it's at the middle of the funnel that you are introducing things like testimonials, so that people can see how people who can relate can see how this company has helped other people's case studies, even discounts and other things to help to do that. And then his audience is changing at the middle of funnel. He's no more just talking to like the general broader people. Instead, he's talking to only people who have engaged with him at the top of funnel part. And then that's basically what also happens at the bottom of funnel and all. Since we're going to share this sheet, I don't want to like go deeper, but if this basically is your strategy, if you are able to, so basically your ability to identify audience, messaging channel, tactics, goals, and your success metric for each of the stages of the funnel that's your strategy as a performance marketer. So that's the second tip I have for you. Third one is that you should always think bigger. Like if you want to think bigger and like look at the big picture, if you want to have a seat at the table as a performance marketer, and you not just be talking about how you brought in leads and stuff, it'd be nice to just ask yourself this question. Like, even me, I've been trying to, I'd like to go through this for my company just to give me an idea, so that when I'm talking, at least I'm intelligently talking and I'm intelligently making decisions or talking. So I hear that. So doing my research about this, I saw that like as a startup, this is a model that lots of startups use. This is what they use to like they ask themselves these questions, and that's what they use to flesh out their whole strategy. So how are you going to get customers to find you? How are you going to get them to take the exact actions you want them to take? Retention is how do you reduce churn? How are you going to retain your customers? Your referral is how do you turn your customers to advocates? So like, of course, referral campaigns always work. Peer-to-peer, we all know, always works. Then how can you increase revenue? If you're able to answer these questions, when you go for meetings or you're talking to your boss or whatever, you just have just like a bigger picture, and then you just be able to just see things differently and be able to add value like in the best way that you should. Then this is the last one for strategy for me. Your best and cheapest marketing is when you pick and convert your low-hanging fruits. That is the best thing that can happen. That's like the cheapest one. That's the easiest one. As a performance marketer, as much as you're focusing at top of funnel, you need to be focusing on your low-hanging fruits. And the best ways to get them are through lookalike audiences. I've mentioned lookalike audiences a couple of times in this presentation. So your lookalike audience is basically the audience that is similar to the audiences that have converted on your website before or have taken certain actions on your website before. For example, you can do a lookalike audience of people who liked all your Facebook posts, or a lookalike audiences of people who converted on your page. You can basically do that. So those ones, given that they are exactly similar to the people that have taken the actions you want to take, you are very, very, very likely to convert these people, especially on Facebook. You know, Facebook has all our data, very intelligent people, and they're able to like identify. Google Search as a platform in itself, Google Search, not Google Display. Google search itself as a platform is a low hanging fruit platform, because it's a consideration and bottom of funnel platform, because these guys they're obviously searching and considering like other options and trying to see which one works for them. So they already know they need the product. Your goal is just to let them know now that you are the better option. So that's why Google search is such a good one for low hanging fruits. It won't take so long to convert. Then retargeting and remarketing. Retargeting, they have engaged with you guys, with you on your website. Remarketing, remarketing is mostly email. So they've dropped their email with you. They might have done a demo, like in my case, but they have not become fully paying customers. That's where remarketing comes in. Then you start to use like email drip campaigns to like nurture them and get them to perform what you want them to perform. Yeah, I think that's it for strategy. I've been talking since. Please, does anybody have any questions? Any questions? All right, so let's go to the second part, which is ads and landing page platform optimization. So basically everything you need to do to optimize. I've broken them into platforms. So on Facebook, these, you know, like I said, I'm going to give tips and hacks. So these are like my best top tips for optimizing your Facebook account. Now, you should know first that Facebook and AdWords have different ad structures that work for them. You shouldn't use the same structure for Facebook and AdWords because the way Facebook runs is different from the way AdWords runs. So on Facebook, what you should use is that you should structure your ad group by audiences. So it will be one campaign, it will be campaign, then your ad group will be broken down based on audiences. So for your ad group, you can have one ad group that is lookalike audience, another ad group that is like custom audience, then maybe another ad group that is based on your interest, the interest of whatever your company is. In my case, it would be HR interest. So like it'll be HR interest ads. Then for each ad group, you should have, like, please have up to 3 ad groups, and then at least have, I just put 3 ads, and I think 3 ads is actually too small. You can have 5 to 10 ads per ad group. It's actually advisable that you do that, because as a performance marketer, you need to test. That's like one of the easy ways to test, really, because Facebook is intelligent enough to optimize for the best performing ads. So what's going to happen is that somehow it's just the best performing ads that will be showing up more at the top. Then the ones that are not performing, you might still be spending. Your goal is to go, your responsibility is to go and turn off those ones and identify the ones that actually resonate with people and are performing. So if you give Facebook only 1 or 2 ads to work with, it's too small. I remember like sometime last year, I was running a campaign, and I just thought that this ad is the ad that had performed in the last couple of months. So let me just leave only that ad to run. It was such a flop. By the time I added like 3 or 4 or 5 more, so much leads just started coming in. So you really just have to give Facebook like the more opportunities to to push your ads and things like that. Then on Facebook, for every new campaign you want to run, have a prospecting campaign, which is basically a top of funnel campaign, and a retargeting campaign, which is the middle of funnel and bottom of funnel. The prospecting campaign is really just to drive traffic to your website. Like we all know, that's the goal of top of funnel. But your retargeting campaign, those people who have come to your website, you need to convert them, and that's when you use retargeting campaigns. So every time you want to launch something new, you're going to have prospecting campaign and you are going to have a retargeting campaign. Your prospecting campaign, like I said, like general, and it's the same structure you have for your prospecting, same structure you have for your retargeting. It's just that you're going to have different audiences and different ads. For your retargeting campaign, you're going to be retargeting maybe people who visited a high intent page on your website, like pricing, or maybe they checked out they added some products to, if it's an e-commerce, they added some products to the cart and they just did not convert. It will be those people you are going to be remarketing to. My last point on this page is to always test and track. You know, like I mentioned, that you have to have multiple ad groups and multiple ads, because this definitely helps you to sort of like test. Now, let me talk about track. You know what happens with Facebook is that if you don't handle Facebook well, if you don't like work on the attribution window and stuff like that, and somehow, because Facebook is a display ad, is a disruptive advertising, because you are like you're disrupting people's views. It's not like it's not like you are It's not like they are looking for you. You're the one that's going to look for them. I'm forgetting the real name, what we actually call that. Anyway, so because of that, somehow I realized, at least from a B2B, on Facebook, you get so many leads. But by the time you really look at it, you see that the leads are not high quality leads. They're not good quality leads at all. So something happened like late last year or earlier this year for us. I think it was late last year. Like Facebook, of course, leads were coming in and we were like, oh yeah, Facebook is really good. We even already started to put more budget. I think at that point, Facebook was probably spending a lot, almost what Google was spending, I think. We're thinking that they were equal until like the data guy came and did some like deep analysis and tried to track all these leads that came from Facebook. Like, did they even turn to customers? Like, what happened to them? And we found out that they dropped off at the beginning of the funnel. Like, they didn't even continue. So we just realized that Facebook, as much as Facebook ad platform is showing that we're getting 30 leads per day or 40 leads per day or whatever, those leads are all trash leads. They're not adding any value to us. So we just changed strategy. Instead, transfer money to other things that are adding value to us. So that's why we need to like always track. So yeah, I just put a sample of what the structure should be. I really wish I could do more, but I think let's just manage that. We can just work with this. So at the campaign level, you have one campaign, then you have ad set 1, ad set 2. Here, it's like you can see ad set 1 is like a broad audience. The ad set 2 is like your lookalike audience. Depends on you. You guys have everybody has their own different businesses. There are several other audiences you can have. You can have ad set 3, ad set 4, whatever. But then you can see each ad set is going to have ad 1 different ads. This one has 5. It would be nice if you have up to 8. You can have 5 to 10. That's whatever works for you. Then each of these ad sets have the same ads. So it's the same ads you have in ad set 1. It's the same ads you have in ad set 2. What I've noticed is that the 2 different ad groups and different ad groups based on audiences convert for different ads. So the ads that work for ad set 1 don't necessarily work for ad set 2. So that's another reason why it's best you like break it up like this so that you can optimize best and get the best out of these campaigns. The other thing for Facebook I'll talk about is custom audiences and lookalike audiences. And they're coming up again. Honestly, they're the audiences that, in my experience, last 2 years, they are the ones that convert. They convert the most. They are the best performing because they are exactly based on what you want. But then the secret now is that what typically people do is that they would, this is an experiment even for me from last year. I just went to like our CRM or database and just downloaded the email addresses of everybody who converted and uploaded to Facebook and say, Facebook, go and find these people. It didn't click to me that it's possible that some of these people actually did not even use the email address they use on Facebook. And somehow it's just, or I don't know, for whatever algorithm reason or the other, Facebook is not actually able to optimize lookalike audiences based on what you upload as much. So I was trying that until somebody gave me this secret and like, instead of you going to upload, why don't you optimize based on an Facebook event pixel? So that's another thing about tracking. When you set up your Facebook account, you need to ensure that your pixels are installed perfectly on your website. And you also, apart from ensuring your pixels are installed, you also have to ensure that your Facebook event is for leads or for whatever the call to action you want them to take on the website is also set on your website. It's also set on your Facebook platform. So for my own Facebook platform, if not I was so private, I would have loved to show you guys all these things I'm saying. For my own Facebook platform, for every campaign, I can see the number of leads I got. So like the number of people that actually dropped their email addresses, I can see it just because I have set the Facebook event. So the person told me that your lookalike audiences should be based on that goal you have set in Facebook. So because it's working based off Facebook pixel or Facebook's algorithm, it is able to do it perfectly. It does it so well. Those ones always, always, always convert. So if you have to upload, fine, but also have a lookalike audience that is based on the Facebook event pixel. Like I said, after this class, if you want me to show you guys how to set it up and all of that, you can also Google it, and I'm sure you see it. To create a lookalike audience, you need to have to create a lookalike audience, you need to create a custom audience first. That's the only way to do it. If you go on your Facebook, you go on the audiences, you cannot just create a lookalike audience first. So you have first of all create a custom audience based on whatever, then create a lookalike audience. I just thought to share some of the ones that have worked for me in the past. This lookalike audience based on 1 to 5% of similar Facebook leads always like amazingly works for me. because it's really targeting people who have actually converted. Like I said, I use the Facebook events pixel. Lookalike audience based on people who have viewed the video more than 50% into the video also works for me. Even this last one, custom audiences based on high intent page visits. So sorry, I got distracted. Yeah. So the last one for me is the custom audiences based on high intent page visits on the website. For me, it is pricing. I'm just like, so what pages do people go on the website that shows that they are interested? So I typically say like if they visited the home page, they visited the pricing page and maybe one of the product pages and spent maybe more than 2 minutes, it means that they're interested. So I want you to create a custom audience for those people. When you create the custom audience for those people, and then I will both run an ad to custom audience and to the lookalike audiences of those people. So these are the ways you hack it. Let me just say this here. These platforms, they typically say that they are here to help you reach out to people and stuff like that. But they are also in the business of making money. If you are not very vigilant and if you don't know their tricks, or if you don't hack it, you're going to just be spending money. Facebook will just be telling you 5 million people reached, and your mind will be like, oh yes, 5 million people reached. But if you don't track it well or manage your audiences and things like that, you would not know that nothing is really happening. So you really need to be careful. The other optimization techniques that have worked for me on Facebook, number one, set rules. Facebook has automated rules. Facebook has automated rules that if you set it, you don't have to go in there every day to go and optimize. So one of the ones that I like that works for me, in fact, is to automatically turn off non-performing ads after 2 weeks. So you see all of those 10 ads I had talked about, that you can leave 10 ads running. If 10 ads are running, I can bet you that maybe only 3 are really performing. So if you just leave all 10 running, your money will just be going, like it won't be making sense. Meanwhile, you should have turned off those 10 and let it focus on the ones that are working. So with this, if you can automate it, and that would happen. There's so many rules you can set. So you need to, after this, you can go and Google setting rules that can be set on Facebook, on your Facebook ad platform, and you see so many. Then I schedule ads on days and times I have the most conversion. So like weekends are not good because I'm a B2B. Weekends and the evenings are not good for me. So I do that. Something else I should mention here is also that on Facebook, I think you can determine if you want mobile or web ads. Looking at our platform historically, I always thought like mobile ads always converts better. People always say mobile, everybody is on mobile, everybody's on mobile. But in my own company, in my own business, by the time we did some analysis and stuff, it's mostly web that converts. So these are like little things. I just remember that, and I just thought to mention it here. So these are things, everybody's account is different. You just really need to be checking. It's only web that converts. So we try to optimize our ads for web more than for mobile. Then check your attribution window on Facebook. I advise you to change it to 7-day click. Well, Facebook is automatically set to 28 days click, which basically means that if you see my ads, if you see Facebook ad today, you click on the ad or just see it or whatever today, if in 28 days time you go and convert, it's going to say that it is because of that ad. But what the argument is that 28 days is too much. Anything could have happened. Somebody else could have told you about the product, about it. Anything at all could have happened. That wasn't the reason that you converted, but Facebook would just claim it and say that Facebook would typically just claim it and say that it was because of them. So that's why it's always advisable to change it to 1-day view and 7-day click. Then always track the quality of your leads with your CRM to give you an idea of whether to invest on. They already told the story around this. Yeah. So I think that's it for Facebook for me. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. I'm just going to continue. For Google optimization for me, I spend a lot of my time on Google. The first thing I have to say here is that I feel like if you want to be a good performance marketer as a Google search person, you should know what every function or metric on AdWords does. On Google Ads, not AdWords, it's no longer AdWords. You should know what every function does. So what I've highlighted here are 3 different ones apart from the regular ones we see. Of course, clicks, click-through rate, CPC, all of those things are important, but there's like so many. I really wish I could have shown you my dashboard. Like my dashboard is so wide because like there's so many metrics I check. But I just want to talk about these 3. for people who are active on Google Ads, for you to check it out. My search impression share. So of all the available impressions out there for those my keywords, how many am I claiming, and who are the people I'm competing with? That's something that is really big that you should be checking. If you're competing with only maybe 5 people and your search impression share is like 20%, that's a sign that, man, you're not doing well. Either you're not bidding the right way, your ads are not connecting, you're not reaching the right people. Go and change your copy or your quality score. There's so many things. It's going to be it's just go and check it out. I always check my search impression ad and share, because I always want to ensure that I'm above 70%. And this is what's funny, is that we actually have about 20 something other companies competing with the same thing. So the fact that I'm at 70%, it means that, okay, I'm showing up most of the time to the relevant people. Search top is basically of all the times that I could have shown up at the top. And of all the times I could have shown up at the top of my in the search ad, that's like above the organic results. How many times did I really show? So for us, by the time the data lead in my company did some analysis on the account and saw that we converted mostly only when we showed up at the top, not necessarily absolute top. So not when we showed up in number 1. It didn't matter whether we showed up in number 1 or number 4, as long as we were in the top. So my goal is always ensuring that we can show up at the top as much. So if my search top is getting from 80% to 100%, I'm good. If not, I'm doing everything I can, optimizing to ensure that increases. Impression top is that, okay, so of the impression share, that's of the little times of the 70% of the times I show up, how many times did I even show up at the top? Yeah. And then there's so many other ones. There's like what percentage of impressions that you lost because due to rank, which basically means that your quality score is low, or it could be due to budget, which means that you're spending so low, so you're not hitting people. So like there's things like that. You should definitely check it out. And like I said, I'm open to show you guys that. Then you should structure your ad groups. You know how I said Facebook, you structure your ad groups based on the other thing I said you should structure your ad groups on audiences. Yeah. So for this one, you have to structure your ad group based on products. You have to structure your ad group based on your products that you have. That's the best thing that's the best way I can advise you to do it. Run away from broad keyword match types. I've looked at a couple of Nigerian company accounts, and I see that everybody just happy and just leave it in my broad match type. They are so general. And like I said, these platforms, they love you, but they will be spending your money. I always advise that you go long tail. You can, even if it's broad match modified, you do is fine, but go long tail keywords. And then like try and be very, very specific. Honestly, in my platform, most of our ad groups is exact matches we're using, because I've been able to identify all the possible keywords that can actually come up. I did a lot of research to be able to do that, and we use exact match just to. Before then, we're spending almost double what we're spending now, and we're getting the same results. That's to show you how much wasted traffic you get, and like just because of stuff like that. So you need to be very careful with that. Test what bidding structure works for you. Everybody always says, "Oh, use automated bidding strategy because Google understands and stuff." Even me, I always fall in that trap. However, every time we've tested it, we've seen that manual CPC always works. Like it's so amazing, it's so funny, but manual CPC always works for us. We get the same amount of leads and we spend way cheaper. So you need to test what works for you. For you guys, it might be automated that works. Then you need to, like on AdWords, just like Facebook, you can also set rules. Me, the one I set rules for is that like at 5 o'clock, my best one is that at 5 o'clock every morning, my keywords based on past 2 weeks of data, my keywords that are below the top of page bids must increase to the top of page bids. So it automatically increases my CPC bids by itself every morning at 5 o'clock. And which is, I don't need before, like without the rules, you have to go and do it manually, and it's really crazy. But this one I just automated and it just works for me. Then of course we know the one of adding negative keywords every time. Then we know the ones then always turn off and replace ads not converting. Always do that, because like it's same thing with Facebook. Ads will just be running, your money will just be spending. It's not adding any value. Please just turn it off. You can also use set rules for that. Then you should have different pages for your different campaigns. I don't even know if I should go into this here now, because you know quality score is your quality score determines like how much you spend and stuff. For you to get a good quality score, there's 3 key factors, but one of it actually is depending on your landing pages. So if you're able to be so specific that your landing page is is directly related to your keyword, you'll be fine. So like, I can even give an example. We have HR and we have HR and payroll. We have HR software. I have an ad group for only HR software, and the landing page talks only about HR. Then I have another one for HR and payroll. They are so similar, but the landing page has stuff on payroll and has stuff on HR. So those are things that you need to just optimize your account. Then I have Bing here. Typically, people say Bing actually accounts for only 3% or so of all the searches, so people typically avoid it. What's funny is that with us, at least we get 1 lead per week from Bing. So I always tell people that if there's an opportunity to get 4 or 5 leads per month from Bing, why throw it away? Why don't you just go there? You will spend so little. I probably spend like $50 in a week or something. So like, as usual, of course, like I said, you have to really be careful with keywords and all, but like I said, I'm very hyper whatever with my keywords, so you should definitely consider it. Google display, I personally avoid it because it's a huge money spender. I feel like it's best as a middle or bottom of funnel lead. Middle or bottom of funnel lead, because you can use it to reach out to people who have visited your website and get them to convert. But if it's just like you're just trying to get awareness, I always run from it. It has never really worked for me. I'm like, but you can test to see if it works for you. If it works for you, you should consider the in-market audiences of products or services said. So that you have to work on the audiences. You don't just let it run. You have to select the audience you want. So it should be people who are already in the market of looking for your product or service. Then you should manage your placements. And then yes, you make sure you manage the placement. So there are sites, there's YouTube, and there's mobile. For us, all the ones that show on YouTube do not convert. And Google always starts to show you your ads on YouTube because like so much, you'll be looking at it and you just be seeing so much impressions, but hey, nothing is happening, wasting money, doesn't make sense. So typically we take out YouTube for us, take out the ones that don't exactly really work for us, even mobile, because most people convert on web for us. And then that's what we focus on. Then focus on ad sizes that have historically converted for you. That's another thing I realized. Typically, they'll say there's like 10 different dimensions for Google ads, right? For Google display ads, just so everybody wants all the dimensions. By the time I check, there's really only 3 dimensions that convert for it. So I just started focusing on those 3 or 4 instead of having all of the rest, honestly. There's no need to waste money. Yeah, then I think this is the last thing here is conversion rate optimizations. Always test your creative, your copy, your CTA on your ads and landing pages. I'm sure we all know that. If you don't test it, then I don't know. Run the A/B or multivariate test for when you're running this. When you're testing, run it for 2 weeks at the least, or whenever you've gotten enough sample size to decide, because you cannot. Because it doesn't make sense to decide based on like a data of just 10 people. You need like a good number, and at least run it for 2 weeks. I've been in situations where after the first week, I thought one ad was winning over the other, and then I saw that after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we saw it normalized, and we saw like the real one that was working. For me, on Bounce and Google Optimize, I suggest for optimizing your landing pages, because on Bounce itself, you can create a landing page and also run the A/B testing and see the results on Bounce itself. Google Optimize, I don't think you can create the landing pages on Google Optimize, but on Google Optimize, you definitely can run a different version of your landing page or whatever on it. And yeah, always have your CTA above the fold. Yeah, so this is the last part, which is tracking and analytics and reporting. There's no way to teach analytics and reporting without doing practical sessions. So this was the best start that I could do. So first thing you should know is that as a performance marketer, you're a part data analyst. As if your part of your job is data analyst, is data analytics. So for you to measure success from start, that's from your awareness to the end, that's from the end, that's the revenue you get, you need to track. The best for the beginning for you to start tracking is adding UTM parameters to all your URLs. I have added this link for you to go and for you to, if you check it out, I can't go out of here because we're even out of time now, but if you check it out, you're able to create the link, the trackable links on there. So basically, instead of, see, this is DigiClan or Africa. If I had run this ad on Facebook or whatever, this is the link. This is what the link is supposed to look like. It's supposed to show that my UTM source is Facebook, or maybe my medium is CPC, and my campaign name is Webinar Performance Marketing. So that when I go on analytics or whatever my other platforms to track, it's clearly I can track it to its right to its source, like it is Facebook or it is Google or it is whatever. If Google, I think that Facebook has in the Facebook ad platform, if you scroll down when you're about to launch the ad, it shows you to build your URL parameters there. So you don't have to always use this link. You can always go and build it on the platform. But if you want to track for real, you need to be adding URL parameters to you. Then so continued, ensure you add your tracking tags and pixels for all your platforms into analytics. So Facebook pixels, ensure it is added to your website. Basically, your Google Ads and Google Analytics typically like just links together because they're the same whatever. So you have to link it. Your LinkedIn, your Twitter, whatever it is, just ensure that you have the pixels on your website. Then, like I said earlier, create goals and events for your key funnel metrics across all the platforms. You should be able to go on Facebook and see how many people converted, or go on Google and see how many people converted. Yeah. Then you should have your source of truth. So like typically me, I'll check my database, or I could check the CRM, we use HubSpot, or I could even just check analytics. But yeah. On reporting, you need to use data visualization tools like Google Data Studio, Tableau to report. So there's so many things you can report. So all I can say is that report what is important to your company. I also can show you my personal stuff, but I report on revenue, I report on trends in like spend and in like number of leads or number of demos done, and different things like that. And then I use Google Data Studio to do it. If you have somebody who is really into data analytics, that'll be really good if you can just tell them to like just help you run all of these things. If to get good Google Data Studio templates, just Google it. Google has lots, beautiful ones that I can show you now. So like the way it works, well, if you guys want to talk about reporting or anything next time, I can show you personally, like I said. But yeah, this is a sample of ads. This is a sample of reports from Google Data Studio that you can run. This one is for Facebook, I think. See the top campaigns at the bottom, so you even know like what your top campaigns are and things. This is for Google Analytics. You can see paid search. You can even see how much each of the channels have brought in. Then you see at the top, you can add whatever filter you want and things like that. What else? Yeah. Like I said, I'm happy to show you guys personally or in the next class where we'll only talk about reporting and tracking and analytics and things like that. But yeah, I think finally this is my marketing tech stack that I currently work with right now. So my platforms, mostly Facebook, Google, Bing, LinkedIn. I use Spyful, SEMrush, Keyword Planner for keyword planning. For landing pages, I use Unbounce, Webflow, and Google Optimize. My CRM database is HubSpot and SQL Pro. For my analytics and reporting, I use Google Analytics, Google Data Studio. My competitive analysis, if you go on Facebook page of any company you want to check what they are running, you can check their ad library in their page transparency tab. You can check modes to see what Google display ads other people are running. Then check Spyful to see what search ads people are running. Then of course we use Zapier to like link platforms that don't naturally integrate or connect to each other, and then we use Zapier for that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is my email address. If you want to like meet up or like book a time and things like that, you can like email me here. That's it. I hope I've been able to add value to you guys. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions? Do we have any questions?
Hello, Zino. Good evening once again. Thank you very much for your session. Just to quickly ask if anyone amongst the audience or participants have any question for Zino before we let her go. Any question?
Good evening. Hi guys. Hi William.
Hi Olumide.
Hi
Good evening.
Zino. I want to ask a question. So when it comes to the audience, do you think it's good if you have like a specific set of audiences that will give you the number, like create more exposure, but might not necessarily create direct lead at that moment. So for example, maybe I put a particular location that I know that maybe during the summertime, I know a lot of people who travel out of the country, and maybe a particular place, maybe let's say Dubai or something, and I
Yeah.
want to run an ad for my card.
Okay.
So I work in a financial institution. I want to run an ad for my card usage, and I know at that moment a lot of them will be there. So I can set the audience for that place at that moment. Then if I want to use my card setting again, maybe like a month or two after, can I still leave it there, knowing that there's a possibility that some might still be there at that moment?
Oh, okay, I see. So I think, so first and foremost, it depends on your goal as a company, and it depends on what you want to achieve. If it's that you want to achieve awareness, I think that totally makes sense. But I don't think you should leave it beyond summer. I don't think you should leave it after summer, and it should just be running because some people might still be there. There won't be a lot of people there. And how do you even know? The only way I would even agree that you can leave it is if that campaign, you see that a lot of people are still clicking on it. If maybe like website visitors did not reduce, or like clicks did not reduce even after summer, then you can still leave it. Or if there's nothing like that, I don't think we should leave it. And like I said, if your goal is conversion, or the way you explain it to me, it looks like your goal might be awareness, that you just want people to know. If your goal is awareness, that means that your success metric and things like easy, like really top of funnel things like that. So I think that it's going to be fine like that. But if you are supposed to go back and say these are the number of people that use the card, I advise that you don't leave it more past summer, and I advise that you're very careful about it. I actually advise that maybe you should use, I don't know if there's a way you can create a custom audience, maybe talk to the people in charge of your database to get a custom audience of the number of people who use their cards abroad. And then maybe those are the people you target. That's what I feel like for now, yeah.
Thank you, Zeno.
Okay, thank you very much, Zeno. Olumide, while asking his question, mentioned that he works in a financial institution. Well, I want to crave his indulgence to burst his bubble. He worked in the last financial institution. Did I say the last financial institution you worked in before you left Nigeria? The purple side. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Oh, are you serious? Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes. Any other person with any other question?
Hi, Zeno. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mine is not more of a question. I just wanted you to recap the place of Google Ads, because it seemed a little confusing at some point when you were mentioning having Google Display as TOFU and then having Google Search in middle and bottom, but then that wasn't very clear. Can you recap, please? Thanks.
The place of Google. Sorry, did you say the place of Google Display or Google Search?
Both, please.
Okay. Let me tell you what I like from personal experience. I feel like Google Search is definitely a middle of funnel / bottom of funnel campaign. Channel, because like the people who are coming in there are already at the consideration stage. Now for Google Display, however, I'm saying that I am personally, this is a personal and based on experience for the past 2 years, if I must be sincere. Using Google Display as retargeting is a better way if you are actually looking for conversions than using Google Display for the top of funnel. So I would typically use Google Display as retargeting than for top of funnel. Now I'm saying that if you now use it, because like I said, it's what works for you. If you test it and Google Display at top of funnel works for you, that you're just doing it based on like audience, based on whatever audience you pick and it works for you, of course, go ahead and just use it. But in terms of awareness, I know that, yes, it gives it, but what I've seen is that if you even, do you know something now, well, for us, and I need to be careful, so I keep saying for us, when I go on Google Analytics to actually check which of these platforms have the highest bounce rates that from paid ads, we all know paid ads typically have high bounce rates, but the highest ones are usually from Google Ads. And guess what? These people will just tap on the ad. I honestly don't know why they're clicking on it and they leave immediately. So like 100 people could have tapped on it and 99 of them left immediately. So it just talks to the audience that you have as on Google Display. Google Display audiences, I'm not sure that they're really good. So you have to really that's what I'm saying. You really have to optimize it. So either you go and check on your placements, like manage the placements and say, I want to show only on sites and I don't want to show on mobile and I don't want to show on YouTube. The YouTube ones are the worst for us. So like this thing, you can like stop all of those ones. Then in Canada, I noticed that they don't have like a list of sites that we want to do direct. You want your ads to show on, but in Nigeria, you have a list. I would say that if you want to do Google Display, maybe you can get that list of 100 Nigerian sites you want to show and put it on there and say, this is where I want you to show. Like, just think more from like, how I said that your goal is to increase revenue, but also optimizing costs and ensuring that at every time your ad shows is to a relevant audience. So think about it from that angle, so that you just not be showing into just like I don't know, everybody or just people who are even really not interested. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that was very helpful.
Okay.
Any other person? Any other question before we let Zeno go? Okay. In the absence of any other question, Bukayo is off the call. Is there any other top person in DigiClan around that can help us round it up, or are we good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, in the absence.
Okay.
In the
Hello
absence of.
everyone.
Okay,
Can you hear
Bukayo
me?
is here.
No, it's not Bukhari. This is
Hi,
Tim
Tim.
actually. Hi. So thank you, Zeno, for this class. It's really been very, very helpful and very, very enlightening. I know I learned a whole lot, and I can tell that a whole lot of people also learned a whole lot. I know Bukayo is here, but I don't know if he's left already. I know he was here quite a few minutes ago. So thank you so much once again. We really, really appreciate this. I learned about top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, otherwise known as the awareness, consideration, and conversion, and even how to track. Personally, I came here to learn about the whole analytics thing and how to use like maybe Google Data Studio and all of that, because I think it gets so confusing. It gets so confusing when you try to do so many tracking, especially with using Google, when you're running Google ads simultaneously, we're running like Facebook ads and all of that. But I'm sure like we're going to have a class for that some other time. It's just so that we do not wear out the attention of the audience. But thank you so much. It's really been a very, very enlightening discussion.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for listening too.
All right. So everyone, thank you so much for sticking around. I'm just going to wish you good evening and have a very, very wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Zeno. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.